Okay, good evening, everyone. Wow, no energy in Bangalore today. What's happening? Come on. Thank you. Good evening. I think everyone reached on time and everyone's well settled, had a proper tea and all that. So you should all be energized, no, by now. So great. Thanks a lot for sparing your time to join us here today for the AWS for VMware Roadshow. I'm Anil Chopra, by the way. I am the head of market research at Cyber Media Research, and I'm also the research editor for Cyber Media Group of Publications. Um, we're probably more known for our magazines like Data Quest, PC Quest, Voice and Data. So, that's the group I'm from. I'll just spend a few minutes to kind of broadly set the context of what we are doing and why you have all been invited to join us here today. You know, so I think all of us know, and many reports also say that, right? I think 70% of enterprises today are busy adopting cloud and various forms of cloud, right? Private cloud, no, hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, multiple forms of cloud. Everyone's busy adopting cloud. And adoption of cloud is not just a simple technical shift. There's a lot of complexities involved, right? It's a proper strategy because it defines how you're going to take your business forward, right? It's how you're going to transform your business. So when you're looking at a transformation of the business, you don't want to take everything that is traditional on the cloud as well, right? If you have something in the traditional data center, you don't want to take everything on the cloud. You'll take all the inefficiencies along with that. So many operational tasks, so many processes are there. Everything will change. So it's a strategic decision, right? You have to think about so many things when you're actually, doing this kind of migration. So at an overall level, yes, it's a strategic decision and it's fairly complex. And there are so many aspects to it. We are here to discuss just one aspect of this, which is basically migrating on-prem VMware workloads to AWS cloud, right? Fairly, that all itself has so many different angles. Again, not just a simple technical decision. There are multiple aspects to consider, even in this kind of a decision, right? While you're migrating, there are license portability issues, there are cost optimization issues to look at, agility, what kind of speed. You have to assess basically the entire infrastructure, because so many VMs are running on-prem, right? How do you really look at migrating all of those? How can you seamlessly do it? Uh, I'm sure there'll be a lot of tools available to do that. So we want to discuss all of this today in detail with you today. And, I have with me the AWS team and the Cloud team. Cloud is AWS partner. So can I request the AWS team and Cloud team to just raise your hands? Yeah, they're around, all of them sitting there at the back on the right side, on my right side. So we're here to talk about various aspects of this migration process. There are use cases, there are tools available, there are multiple things that are there. And to give you an introduction of all of that, on why AWS for VMware, right? I'm going to invite on stage Deepak Theke from AWS. And Deepak is a very senior leader at AWS. And he will take you through, the why of part of it. So Deepak, thanks and welcome.
Thank
and over
you
to
so
you.
much, Anand. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. Thank you so much. Thanks, CMR team. Thanks, the CloudThat team, as well as all of you valuable customers for taking your time out to come and spend time with us to discuss AWS for VMware, right? Part of the Cloud Insights CIO series that we are conducting with a lot of customers across different cities. I just want to start off on a lighter note by taking a stand in defense of Bangalore traffic. So this evening when I was coming here, I thought I had to go to Taj MG Road, and I went there, right? But from there to here at 6:30 in the evening, peak traffic Friday evening, took me just 15 minutes. So, I mean, there is hope for all of us. Bangalore traffic is not so bad, and many of us have been to the other cities. It's equally bad or good, right? So with that, let me get straight into this. I'm Deepak Theke, I lead business development for what we call migration and modernization, typically leading with some of what Mr. Anil spoke about, which is that how do you help customers migrate from their legacy infrastructure, legacy applications, databases uh, to the cloud, and more importantly, helping customers understand the right reasons why they should get to the cloud. I mean, as the cloud industry is maturing, also transforming at the same time, I think we all have learned that, I mean, it's not a simple lift and shift decision and then everything will be great. That's not the case. So we need to be very clear on why we are moving to the cloud, whether it's VMware or anything that you are considering for moving to the cloud. I'll be talking a bit about that why, right? And that is very important. It applies to VMware as much as any other workload that you have, whether it is SAP, Oracle, any of the Microsoft workloads. So that's, and I'm joined by Suman Mahapatra, who's my colleague in the migrations team. She's business development executive migrations. So between me and her, we'll be covering off the agenda today. So first, some context on why we are here, right? The point about this event, which is everyone knows. I won't spend too much time about it, but since Broadcom acquired VMware early last year, when the acquisition was complete, all hell broke loose, right? For customers, for partners, for cloud vendors, in good ways, in bad ways, and there was a lot of commotion, basically because of one thing, as one of our leaders in our company calls it, this was a generational moment in IT, right? Because VMware holds or held 80 to 90% of the enterprise IT market, right? They were the undisputed leaders when it comes to virtualization. They were by far the best product, and customers loved it, and customers had no reason to move out of it, right? Then this happened. So what has happened is that generational moment that I'm talking about, what it means is about 85 million virtual machines are on premises, right, running on VMware. This is from 2022, and I think between all the cloud providers, including us, we have just chipped off a little bit of it, right? Because all of us in earnest started trying to help customers migrate from VMware to the cloud, maybe just 1 year back. Yeah, that's 24 billion of addressable spend. 92% of Fortune 1000 customers are on VMware. So 80 to 90 is wrong. In Fortune 1000, it's 92%. 50% of enterprises intend to migrate to the cloud in the next 24 months. Just a point on that, I mentioned the maturing of the cloud business, right? Not all of these companies are moving to the cloud, right? Are moving everything to the cloud. People have realized, and we'll talk about it more, you move to the cloud for the right reasons, and that's where we'll focus. What key changes happened when Broadcom acquired VMware? They moved from perpetual socket-based licensing to subscription-based, core-based licensing, VCF, right? That immediately meant an increase of 3x to 10x to 15x to 20x, depending on the kind of agreement you had with VMware and the kind of VMware estate that you were running, right? And that was huge. Along with that, Broadcom also streamlined SKUs into premium bundles, right? Which basically meant that, I mean, now you have lesser number of bundles to choose from, and you, I mean, to put it very simply, even if you needed just a Maruti, you probably had to buy a more expensive car, right? Even if you didn't need some of the bells and whistles, some of the peripheral VMware products, it comes in that bundle now, right? So that's what they've done. Streamlining of partners and customers, again, all of us know A lot of customers and partners have not have a good time. Uh, I'll say AWS is one of them, right? We had a VMware-based service called VMCA, but Broadcom pulled the plug on that as well, which means we were resellers of this VMCA product, which is VMware Cloud on AWS. Our reseller rights were taken away. I mean, I'm saying this because this service still exists. If a customer wants it, you have to buy it from Broadcom, right? Broadcom is selling it, yeah. So if you still want VMware and you want to run on AWS, VMCA exists, right? So that's one other thing. They streamline partners, a limited set of customers, a limited set of partners. The idea was for them to streamline their business and make it more efficient, effective, and profitable, which is Broadcom's legacy as well, right? As a private equity player, that's what they do. They acquire companies, shape it up, I mean, increase the value, and then sell off. And companies that don't work, they give it a quiet burial, right? Uncertainty in product roadmap and support. This is the most important thing which is affecting all of you as customers. Every customer we talk to, among all these concerns, this is the primary concern. Because I will also say that over time, Broadcom has also sort of figured out that this is not, our customers are not happy, right? So they are offering good deals to protect or inoculate to some extent the cost increase, right? But they are giving it to what they call strategic customers, which is a limited set of customers. That's one. Even this, I mean, okay, premium bundle, but they're giving discounts, right? So customers can sort of address these things to some extent. Depending on how badly they want VMware, they will go into negotiations with Broadcom and decide that, okay, I'll pay a little bit extra, I'll stay here because I don't know what else to do. But this is something that any customer is facing. Uncertainty in the product roadmap for VMware, uncertainty in the pre-sales and technical support if you're running VMware. And this is because of the changes in their company as much as the changes in our partners. The support angle, right? I mean, the partners are also by and large left high and dry. There's a lot of, even partners are rethinking their VMware business. So all this is happening. So one of the main reasons you should move to the, I'll move on from this. This is the illustration of price increase, 4.4x for a given BOM. I mean, it's just an illustration, right? A customer is lucky if the price rises only 4.4x. But like I said, it can be much, much more. So what can customers do? Like I said, accept price increases and new subscription model at the time of their VMware renewal, whenever that comes, and renew VMware at a higher cost and continue. Move to competing hypervisors. Now, we all know Nutanix and Hyper-V. These are the competing hypervisors. I will take you back to what I said in the beginning. As a product, as a technology, VMware is far, far superior. Nutanix and Hyper-V are only second best, right? Having said that, a lot of customers are also, this is one of the options customers consider, right? Okay, I want to stay on-prem and I want a hypervisor. So why don't I evaluate Nutanix or Hyper-V? Third option, migrating to the cloud, whether it's AWS, Azure, GCP, or whatever that is, right? Now here again, within that there is obviously VMware-based services of Azure and Google. They continue to have those services. AWS themselves are coming up with our own VMware service again, right? Which the difference being, this will be managed by us. It's managed by AWS. The earlier VMCA was managed by VMware, and that was the only VMware managed VMware based service. Now there is none. Now, all of these VMware-based services are run by the cloud provider. Our own service like that is coming up next year. There is no dates and all of that, so we won't talk too much about that right now. Be that as it may, I will make a case as to why moving to cloud native is the best option, right? Cloud native means no VMware, no hypervisor, just move to the cloud, and we can discuss that. So since last year, a lot of every customer we are talking to is considering what to do, right? While some of them maybe because they don't have time, right? Their renewal is coming up in 3 months, 6 months. They just bite their teeth and renew with VMware and buy some more time to complete their evaluation of options. But every customer is evaluating options. Uh, as a result, many of those customers are negotiating 1-year renewals for VMware. So I get some time and then I decide what I want to do. There are 3-year renewals also, there are 5-year renewals also, but few and far between. So this is, yeah, what are the options, right? We spoke about these. Nutanix or competing hypervisors on-prem are popular, however, they require new hardware, new skilling, do not offer a modernization roadmap. Customers who want a sustainable long-term modernization roadmap are preferring AWS. And here, please note, I'm saying AWS and not public cloud, because among the public cloud providers, AWS has the strongest and most coherent modernization story for our customers. We will talk a lot about that shortly. I spoke about this, I mean, while these VMware-based services are there, they are not getting much traction, which is one of the reasons why I said, one of the reasons why you should consider moving to cloud native rather than another VMware-based service. Customers who are serious about long-term modernization roadmap don't want to go this way, yeah? Next year, I'll be back selling Amazon's VMware-based service and I'll change my story. No, just joking. I will continue to say what I'm going to say today. Why AWS? We have what this cloud value framework, right? That's at the core of our modernization story, which is quite easy to understand. There are 5 pillars here: cost savings, staff productivity, operational resilience, business agility, and sustainability. We believe that when customers want to move to the cloud, these are some of the key reasons why they should be doing that, right? Cost savings, of course. For the past few years, it has been primarily about cost saving, right? And that's how cloud providers also sold the cloud, saying that you move to the cloud, you'll get a better TCO, get better infrastructure, better scalability, pay as you go. Those were the traditional value props of the cloud, right? However, we are saying that that is not, it doesn't end there, right? There are, and this is what we've learned in the past few years, right? Like I said, we were also selling cloud as better TCO. Now that matters. I'm not saying this goes away. This still matters, especially we are all in India, right? Indian market is very price sensitive, cost sensitive. That doesn't mean the Indian market is not value sensitive. So the increasing traction we are seeing is that customers are saying, okay, cost is great, I can save cost, but what else? Because when you get cost saving, what's your business going to say? Your business is going to say, oh great, you're doing your job well, right? It's just your job. As I mean, broadly, we are all IT practitioners. We are from the CIO world, right? So reducing cost is a given. So if you go back and say, I've reduced cost, I need more budget, they'll say, no, you've done your job, congrats, that's it. That's why they're asking what else. And these are the things business is looking for. Staff productivity, which is your employees or your developers, your IT staff and all of that. Operational resilience. This is becoming more and, I mean, it was always important, but with the scale that technology and the internet specifically is allowing customers, right? Whether it is scale in terms of new markets, whether the number of customers. I mean, 15 years back, you might have thought about 100,000 customers. Now you know you have a real ability to go after 1 million customers. That's what technology has done to us, right? So resilience of your infrastructure is paramount. When I say resilience, it's about infrastructure that doesn't fail, downtime and all of that, but also security. How secure is the infrastructure, right? I mean, if you have malware attacks, you don't want to have them. You're going to lose revenue, right? You're going to lose reputation, which all impact business uh, a lot, right? So that's operational resilience. Business agility, this is key. Business agility is when business stakeholders in your company are saying that I want to reach new markets, I want to compete better, right? I want to be able to turn around new features in our products, or I want to enter new channels of distribution faster because my competition is doing that. I need to be able to do that if I need to maintain market share or grow market share. So business agility, in other words, time to market, right? How quickly can I get to the market opportunity? That's one of the key things CXOs are looking for. Finally, sustainability, uh, again, needs no explanation. But I mean, on a lighter note, very soon all the energy available in the world will go to AI infrastructure. So you won't have much energy, so you better save energy, right? So sustainability is very important for our customers too. So what do we do with this? That's the cloud value framework that we believe our customers should base their cloud decision on, right? So this is what we do. This is the customer journey. Every customer that comes to us, we show this slide, right? We talk to them about how we can get from here to there. As you can see, these are the cloud value pillars that I spoke about. So obviously you're on-prem, you start with a lift and shift, you right-size your infrastructure, you optimize your legacy licenses because won't go too much into that. I think we all understand that. I don't know, 50% or 30 to 70%, it might broadly vary, of your infrastructure costs for software are the software licenses, right? And that was the old world. That's how software providers made money, right? Now, when you get to the AWS cloud, we focus on right-sizing your infrastructure, which is your compute, storage, networking, all of that, but also your licenses. And uniquely, we are the only company who is positioned to do that because we were never selling licenses in the past. So it doesn't affect our businesses in any way. If you compare to a Microsoft or an Oracle or an IBM, any of those guys, right? So this is a core pillar of what you can expect from AWS the moment you start, right? License optimization. And then we move along the value curve, start helping you with tools, accelerators, tools for managing your infrastructure better, accelerators for managing your development process better maybe, and all of that. We're broadly called automation. And then we start taking you to this whole world of managed cloud native services. Uniquely, AWS once again is the company best positioned to do this because AWS is a cloud native company. We were born in the cloud, right? From our roots in as the IT department of Amazon.com, right? So for over 18 years, we have been doing it ourselves, eating our own dog food. We worked with so many of the world's biggest digital native businesses, as you know. So along the way, we've gathered a wealth of experience, knowledge, best practices. We've developed tools, technologies, services, all of that. which we want to bring to bear on your business, right? So this is this, I'm going to call this cloud native, managed cloud native services, whether it is containers, whether it's serverless, whether it's managed data, managed DevOps, managed analytics, all of that. At the core of all that is open source software. Again, as a cloud native or a digital native business company ourselves, we believe open source is the way to go, right? Open source, I mean, just simple Linux as an operating system is infinitely more secure than, let's say, a Windows. So everything that we will talk to you about, not today, but when you start with us on this journey, will be about how can we adopt the best open source software or services available on the cloud without the negative part of, the perceived negative part of open source, which is there is no support. If something happens, where will I go? There are so many vendors, so many distributions. We offer managed services, right? And that's where we excel. Managing these services, open source based services at scale for the largest customers in the world. So open source is at the core of what we call how we deliver cloud value through modernization, right? Modernization is broadly each of these things we spoke about. I mean, this is our definition. There are various other definitions, and there may be some technologies or services which you don't see here, or you don't agree that it should be here. All fine, right? This is just a view that we go with, and then we work with customers and customize what the customer really wants. This is the cloud value that comes from these managed cloud native services. I'm not going through all these numbers. Suffice to say that we have worked with a lot of customers. There's a very good report by Known Research. This is 2023, but there is a 2025 report, March of this year. And I will share that with the CloudThat team, and we can share it with you, which details out in terms of how each of these modernization pathways deliver that business value that we are talking about, right? The cloud value. Finally, why AWS? One more reason, or the core reason, right? Whatever you do, you're going to a cloud, whatever you do, you need, I mean, it helps to know that your provider has been in this business the longest, the largest, the broadest infrastructure, public cloud infrastructure in the world. We are known for security. I mean, security is at the core of what we do. We say security is job, what? It's day zero, right? Innovation, the broadest range of cloud native managed services among any other cloud provider. Energy efficiency, this is key, right? I said earlier, TCO, I mean, never goes away, and we are not even wanting it to go away. When people say India's cost sensitive, what people don't realize is that India is value sensitive, right? I need value, but at what cost, right? It's not like we don't want value. So it's probably, that's why, I mean, India is known for innovation, right? The jugaad mentality that we call in Bombay and all that. But that's where that comes from. It's not just that we want cheap. We want sundar, sasta, tikau. We want all three, right? So, to that point, AWS is the only cloud provider who constantly has been reducing prices of our services. And when I say reducing prices, of our price list, you can check, right? 134 times since we started business, and we continue to do that, because that's a core philosophy in our company, that we save money through operational efficiency, and then we pass it on back to the customers. What else? Ecosystem of partners, of course, 460 plus migration competency partners. Cloud that is one of our foremost in India. And of course, hybrid deployments, and we'll touch upon all that. Various offerings depending on what your customer, what our customer really needs, right? So these are some of the reasons. Okay, let me summarize just 2 reasons, right? Why AWS, if you are a VMware customer and you're considering moving to the cloud, or you're evaluating options, cloud, on-prem, whatever that is. Number one, you want a long-term sustainable roadmap. You can continue being on VMware with, let's say, Azure VMware service or AWS VMware service, which is coming next year. But then what next? You continue to have the same infrastructure, same kind of operations. Where are you deriving the value from that the cloud offers, right? So number one, you have to, I urge all of you to start thinking about long-term business value. Start thinking about how you can modernize your infrastructure, modernize your applications, modernize your databases. And like I just spoke about, AWS offers you a tried and tested way forward if you want to go that way, right? And Sumana and me will talk some more about, in more detail, about what all we can do for you if you want to choose that journey. That is one. And the second thing is why AWS is what I just spoke about. Our infrastructure, our cloud leadership, right? Some customer examples to reiterate my point about modernization and long-term business value. This is what some of our customers in enterprise are doing with AWS, on our AWS platform. And it spans across different industries, financial services, of course, Wipro, we all know Wipro. Aris Global is an ISV, More is a retail customer. All of these are traditional enterprises. And they are going through this journey, right? And many, many more. I think, Sumana, you will talk about some more customer examples in more detail. But increasingly, and for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, I have seen a definite shift from customers about wanting to move to the cloud, not just for lift and shift and TCO reduction. People are asking for this, asking for modernization. And along the way, we've improved our ability to service that demand as well. Now coming back to brass tacks, right? That was the long-term pitch, if I may. But now, how do I make it real? Many of you are, getting back to the topic for tonight, many of you might be struggling with VMware, or even if you're not struggling, many of you are thinking about what are my options, what should I do? Maybe not now, maybe after 1 year, maybe after 2 years. So that's the customer feedback we've collected over the last 1 year or so from VMware customers, right, who have eventually moved to AWS. Number one, some of my workloads are ready to be migrated, while some are not. I have varying business needs and timelines for my VMware-based workloads. Now, this is straightforward. Like I said, your VMware renewal might happen at different times. You might have 2 or 3 contracts. Different business units might have different contracts. Your hardware refresh cycle is not all coming in at the same time, right? You might have, again, different life cycles for your hardware. So, what should I do? We offer various pathways, right? Depending on your workload, depending on your urgency, what you want to do with the workload. So these are the modernization pathways that we spoke about. Starting from relocate, we call it relocate, which is, like I told you earlier, just lifting and shifting your VMware infrastructure. I'm not a big fan of that. This is what, according to me, is your starting point. Not for all your workloads. To this point, for the workloads that it makes sense to just rehost, right? It might be mission critical workloads that you or your business are not yet ready to upset or touch, right? Or it might be third-party solutions which you don't have the ability to upset or touch. Rehost is the way to go. But even when you rehost, you can build your operational efficiency with those applications by adopting containers. I mean, that's a, we all know, I mean, that's one of our biggest businesses. I mean, we don't, we don't see the need to sell containerization. Customers, I mean, the value of containerization is well understood. So it improves compute efficiency, it improves portability, it improves agility of your application. It improves your ability to, again, your agility when it comes to tweaking your application, fixing bugs, all of that, right? So that's a straightforward thing you can do even when you can't do much else with your application. So we call it replatform. Then managed services, whether it's databases, we have Amazon RDS, which is our managed database service for Microsoft SQL, for Oracle, or also for open source databases like PostgreSQL, MySQL, and all of that, right? That's an example of managed services, right? And finally, and that should be our North Star, refactoring your applications. There, you're now going to tinker with your application. You're going to modernize your app. You're going to rewrite code. You're going to break down your monolith, right? You're going to adopt modern DevOps practices. That is what we call refactoring. So depending on your application, depending on your constraints, depending on your business goals for those applications, we offer all of these pathways, right? Once again, apart from that, we also offer other solutions that might work for some of your workloads, right? AWS Outposts, high latency sensitive applications, or applications, or for customers who are in a regulated environment, right? Where even if you want to, there is, let's say, SEBI directive or RBI regulation, which says that you can't go to the cloud. Then you can use AWS Outpost, which is basically a rack which will sit in your premises, and it will connect to AWS regions for the various services that you will need, right? This is, I mean, physical proximity. When you need physical proximity, it should be in your office or close to your office. It can't be in the cloud somewhere. So that's AWS Outpost. We also have partner solutions for, these are temporary tactical solutions in my mind, where you're still in the virtualization world, right? You're not going cloud native. So you can run your Nutanix. If some of you already are doing Nutanix in your on-premises, you can run Nutanix cloud clusters on AWS bare metal. Similarly, we have partnership with Red Hat OpenShift. They also have a virtualization service as part of OpenShift. We call it ROSA. I mean, ROSA is the platform. There's virtualization. There's the more popularly known containerization of Red Hat OpenShift. We have, so that's a breadth of choices depending on what you need. The other customer feedback is, I mean, constant feedback, straightforward. While our team is skilled in VMware, they may not have the cloud skills for a seamless migration, right? Now, this is a valid concern when it comes to adopting any new technology, right? You would have the same problem if you were moving to any cloud provider, or you were moving on-prem to, like I said, Nutanix or Hyper-V. So that is a valid concern. What we have learned, not just in the last 1 year, but for several years that we've been supporting migrations for our customers, right? We just call it VMware migrations today. Earlier, these were called migrations, right? 80 to 90% of enterprises ran VMware, and so many customers have gone to the cloud, leaving their VMware infrastructure and going cloud native. So with the benefit of that experience, we know that it is not rocket science. It's fairly simple, straightforward, and we have tools and services programs which we'll talk about, which addresses point concerns of yours, right? I wanted to put up this map here, I mean, to give a simple representation, because this is the most common. I have this VMware stack. tell me how it maps to the cloud. So this is as simple as possible in one slide. It's each layer of your VMware stack. This is how it maps to our AWS infrastructure, right? So it's very straightforward. And since last year, when this whole VMware became a big thing, customers have been rightfully more tense, more worried, right? Basically because there's that Broadcom sword hanging on their necks. They want to make a quick decision, but at the same time, hey, what if everything fails? Then I lose my job or my company loses business, right? What we've seen is that that is not the case. Like there are some examples worldwide, but in India itself, most recent example is 9,000 VMs, VMware VMs. We moved to cloud native on AWS in 3 months without any, with one of our partners, but without any hiccups. It was a seamless migration. And there are any number of stories like that, right? So the other part is that, of course, we offer training. There's some fine print here, but we start with VMware to AWS immersion days for your IT teams. We give you upskilling programs on our skill builder platform, hands-on, and during the course of migration, we have AWS professional services that helps you with rapid migration. And we also have AWS funded support for our partners to ensure that the cost aspect of that, because our partners are skilled at doing this. Enough number of times we've done this successfully. And we also provide funding to our partners to make sure that it doesn't impact you, the cost angle, right? And of course, you also as customers also get credits to help you during that transition period, right? One more customer feedback: we've never undertaken a migration at this scale. Disruptions and expedited process are critical. We are also worried about breaking apart complex interdependencies. So here's where our tools come in. AWS Transform for VMware is our GenAI based VMware migration tool, which basically this is how it works, right? It works, it does the discovery of your infrastructure, ingests the data, which in turn is helped to do wave planning, clustering together groups of interdependent applications, taking care of the data migration, and it also does the network conversion. And finally, it allows you to deploy at scale, right? AWS Transform is our umbrella brand for GenAI based coding or transformation assistance. You might have heard about Amazon Q, which is the developer coding assistant, right? This is for VMware migration specifically. We've developed this tool. Then, of course, tried and tested application migration service. We've been using that for several years now. And then Migration Hub, which is sort of a console for planning and organizing your migrations. And finally, there is a bunch of ISV tools. I will talk about one of them, I think, as we move on. The final customer feedback is, I worry about costs and substantial investments. We spoke about it. We have several funding programs. In fact, we are offering additional incentives for VMware based migrations, right? In addition, again, for the partner, for the customer, and we offer no cost assessments and ISV tools. Assessment to understand your infra landscape, assessment to understand your application portfolio, map the interdependencies, and of course ISV tooling. There's a variety of tools there. So this is more or less what I wanted to share. Before I hand over to Suman, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to see if there are any questions. Yes.
Yeah, let me. Yeah, hi, thanks Deepak for all these details. So the last point you mentioned, right? The VMware migration to cloud. So let's assume that I already have on cloud. So is that also I get the benefits from your side? Maybe I am on VMCA. Then
Yeah,
if I
yeah. Yes, we have programs for that too.
ah,
I mean, forget VMCA. If you're already cloud native on Azure or Google, and you want to come here, you're welcome. We'll help you with that. We have programs for that also. So we are only talking about today. We are talking about VMware from on-prem to AWS. But like you said, if you're on VMCA or you're on AWS, there is a path and support and programs available to get that to AWS as well.
correct. So we use in VMCA I4I nodes. In fact,
Yeah.
those nodes are there
Yeah.
on VMCA. So now what you said, I'm also now worried about the Broadcom
Okay.
entry, because I recently got rejected on one of the orders which I placed on flexi storage.
Okay.
We had placed the order and it did not materialize because the order was placed with VMware. When
Okay.
it got executed in during course, Broadcom took over.
Okay. Okay.
So in that scenario, I am now worried now because I have to expand my storage and other thing. When you have this option, please let us know, because we have 9 nodes on I4I.
Sure. Which company are you, sir?
First Source Solutions,
First Source. Oh, okay. Bombay, based in Bombay, right?
US based, but we have a headquarters in.
Bhavesh Lakhani is.
Yeah, he's
He's my old friend.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we can talk about it later
Yeah,
on.
perfect.
Yeah, I'm involved in First Source.
Correct.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anything I left out? Any objections? Any concerns? Otherwise, I'll have our team come around and take a signature on the purchase order. Joking, joking. But I hope this made sense. And of course, we can talk more. I think we'll have time for further Q&A as well once Suman finishes. And of course, we have the networking time. We can talk and discuss more as well. Thank you so much. Suman? Okay, now this is stopped working. It's not working. There you go.
Hello? Audible? Thank you so much, Deepak, for setting up the context. This makes the rest of the discussion much more meaningful and adds context to what we will do next. Here was an introduction about why AWS, why VMware on AWS. So, my name is Suman, by the way, and I work with the migrations BD team. My job is to simplify your migration to AWS. So, in that context, I will share the methodologies, approach that you can leverage, the investment programs that will help you offset your costs while moving to cloud, AWS, and as well as some customer examples, some common feedback that we receive from customers, and what kind of customers are we actually handling. We'll give you a view about who are we helping. So most often when I talk to the customers that are working with us regarding this VMware shift, one common feedback that I get from these customers is, oh, you must need the entire DC exit maybe. So that talks about our customer number 1, where we had a DC exit case. So they were in this was for a pensions and benefits company, but it was a large DC exit. So they were not very sure how to handle that, because there are critical payment workloads from pension services. You know how people can get cranky if they don't get their pensions on time. Huh? So that was on stake. So what they did was, in order to give them confidence, a POC was done for them, and you can see the estate going on about 1500 plus VMs. So what we did there was a phased approach. A phased approach helps them gain that confidence. And I'm happy to inform you the success of that was we did it phase wise in silos, and one complete subsidiary completed its migration in 1 month. it is as seamless as that. And I cannot emphasize enough the methods that help you do that, repeatable, exhaustible, and the partners that help us execute that into place seamlessly. We're not just talking about just DC exits. There are other problems that triggered this need for VMware migrations. The second one talks about a research organization that was suffering from subscription-based issue. Once Broadcom acquired, their payment structure and the pricing structure with Broadcom was too difficult and pricey to handle. As Deepak was saying some time ago, it's a bane for a lot of people who have been suffering from suffering from no choice actually. So flexibility taken away from customers, and they have to subscribe to a more costlier model. So what we did was, we not only helped them evaluate their licensing, the objective is not just facilitate your move to cloud, whereas we are also giving you a picture of how to right size that content that you move to cloud. Your workloads you just need to pay the right amount and not obscene amounts that are added from the subscription based model from the Broadcom acquisition. A very interesting case that we had was one of our mobile engagement, and this particular case was very interesting because this was about seasonal workloads, and during IPL they needed to scale their workloads like 3x, up to 3x. This was not their regular workloads, but this need to scale periodically, seasonally, was an extreme need of theirs. And in order to scale that rapidly, and the absence of VMware was turning out to be too expensive for them. Hence, we not only help them reduce their downtime in colos by evaluating that migration, but also using the right channels, evaluation, the facilitate